People say the photograph speaks 1,000 words. It's not true.
I wonder if social media makes us value good photography less.
We are all victims of Instagram these days.
Right? An Italian in Uganda.
I know.
Why Uganda? Welcome back to Kampala Mode. This is a space where we talk to all of Kampala's fashion favorites, from designers, stylists, models, and everyone in between. We want to know what makes the industry tick. Today, I'm really excited to have one of Kampala's most formidable names when it comes to fashion photography, Giulio Molfese.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for making the time. Yes. So if anyone might not know who you are, could you introduce yourself?
Well, usually we can keep things like this. I'm not, not eager to let people know.
To let people know you.
I'm very shy. I don't want to appear that much. But anyway, yes, I'm a photographer. I'm known as a photographer in Kampala. And I've been photographing for 35 years of my life.
35 years. Wow.
Almost 36. I started very young.
I mean, you're an Italian in Uganda.
I know.
Why Uganda?
Well, it's a long story.
I want to know.
Yeah, as I said, I was a photographer all my life since I was very young. I started when I was really young. And those days, of course, we are talking about film photography those days.
Yeah.
No internet, no mobile phones,
Kodak, what?
We had a life without those things. We were happy. And nothing. So I started taking photographs. And of course, my interest was mainly stories, people, social issues. And then I was involved, actually I was one of the founders of anti-racist movement in Italy. And so I was very involved into this social issue concerning migrants, immigration and so on. And I was taking photographs, reportage, stories, photojournalism. And so with photojournalism I covered some conflict zones like Kosovo, Bosnia those days, Guinea-Bissau, real photography. I was working for some magazines, newspapers, association, and so on. And then there was, we also knew the East Africa region. So Uganda, basically, together with one of my friends, he was very active in South Sudan, Rwanda.
Right.
Talking about those days.
Yeah.
You know? And so, Uganda, we get to know Uganda was a very beautiful place, very beautiful country, excellent weather, one of the best weather in the world, for sure. There's no place like Uganda.
Okay.
For real. And then, we decided after some time, you know what, why don't we take a break from this conflict, war photography.
Right.
And we tried to do something in Uganda. And in Uganda we started a small travel company, what. So the first years in Uganda was not really shooting. And that's why I get to know Uganda. So,
travel. And then going from travel to the fashion space.
Okay.
How did that
traveling was
transition?
a very short break because I was a photographer before, then I was a photographer. I've always been a photographer.
Yeah.
I was not doing commercial. But those days I was almost involved into music business.
Okay.
I was shooting all the big rock
Music
stars
videos.
in the world.
Okay.
Bob Dylan, Lenny Kravitz, anyone.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I was young. I was really young. I was 18.
Okay. Yeah, that must have been.
It was like a dream, getting paid and stay there front row, listening to music that you like, moving around, touring with some of them. So I really get to know a lot of big, nice, interesting people in the rock music business of those days. And some are still very active. And and then of course I was shooting. And then here it was quite a coincidence, but all my life was made of coincidences. I never really advertised myself or did something.
Right.
It was just things happen by themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
And here I started, I was just shooting, but just for some close friends, people I knew, just little things just for fun. And then there was a friend of a friend. She became Miss Uganda. Sylvia Namutebi.
Yes.
And Sylvia wanted to shoot with me. I mean, I hardly knew her those days because we had a friend in common. I just say hi.
Yeah.
And then she insisted, I wanted to shoot. It's okay. I don't have even many things here.
Yeah.
Okay, you can shoot. And then we spent 2 days shooting and tape, and then partial those days.
Okay.
So, pictures were nice.
And that's how it started.
Yeah.
The rest is history, as they say. I wonder, like, once you got started with fashion photography and like it had really set in, was there ever a thought of like, oh, maybe I should go back to Italy? Because I feel like the fashion world here versus there is so different.
Okay. First of all, people define me as a fashion photographer. But as I said sometime in other occasion, we hardly shoot fashion in Uganda. We do mostly portraits, some commercial jobs, some commercial shoots, mostly portraits for everyone, from models, celebrities, but families, kids, pregnant ladies, everyone that wants to have some memories of their age of those times. Fashion, it's a bit, because it takes more organization, takes some different market and things here we do. But sometimes be twice a year, something like that. But photography has always been a tool to travel, to get to know new people. It's a very interesting tool, device, that gets you in touch. Yeah. My interest was always in people and stories. So these days, of course, I do these photographs. And, I do the way I know and the best I know. But I like teaching photography. I teach at university, and I like to show the different. And there is another kind of photography. I don't want to say the real one, because even this one is real. But there is another way to photographs, another way to document the life of people, another way to express yourself. It's a way to express yourself. Photography is just a point of view. It's your point of view. People regard photography since the beginning, 180 years ago, as a representation of reality. So it's something that represents reality, so it's truthful. So it's even accepted in court, as a photo evidence. Right. But it's a lie. It's not.
Sometimes it can be.
Photography is not a representation of truth. Your interpretation is the interpretation of the reality of a single human being.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because I've seen I've seen challenges where people have multiple photographers at the same shoot, the same setup, and at the end of the day you'll find like 3 different photos.
Because it's a way to express yourself. It's like when you write or when you dress, when you express yourself. You are a unique human being. Your point of view, it can never be mine. You have your own experiences, your own life, your own beliefs, and we see things in a different way, from a different perspective. Even if we go to see the same movie, we sit side by side at the same time in the same place. We remember different things of that movie.
Absolutely.
Because we are different, so we express ourselves differently. You write in a different way, you express yourself in a different way. So it's a way to express yourself. And it's not, of course, the camera that
does it.
What you write there. You can buy the most expensive pen in the world. You write a shopping list that is very useful, very good.
But it's not, not
the
same as.
So the camera is just a tool. It's a recording machine of some lights and photons, and it's the sensor, and that's it. It's the way you see, what you see, what you feel. And we are different, but we are also different ourselves. Today you're here, but you're different from what you were 5 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you express yourself in a different way, you talk in a different way. So that's photography. It's the same thing. It's mostly like, not like writing, but similar. Actually, photography, the word photography comes from Greek. Phlos, photo, it means light. And write, grapho, it means to write.
So writing with light.
It's writing with light. That's it. So we all write in a different way. We all express ourselves in a different way. So even if we put 2-3 people here in the shooting something around here, we will shoot in a different way because we are different. And not that one is better than the other. It's not a competition.
Subjective,
You're different. You're human being. You're yourself.
Is there such a thing as a bad photo?
Okay, technically we can discuss, of course, maybe that if it's unintentionally out of focus, maybe you lack some basic skills, okay, but then the technique you can learn.
Right.
It's like writing.
Right.
When we were in P1, in P2, we spent weeks to make OOP, how to draw those lines on the paper. And those lines, they make letters, and letters together, they make words. You know? So, yeah, you can learn the technique about photography, and you can have nice calligraphy, or you can have a little bit more sketching, whatever, but okay, the important part is what you express.
Right.
Some of the greatest photographs in history, they are a bit slightly out of focus, they are a bit grainy, but they have a power to communicate something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, this thing that, especially young photographers or people who are not really into photography that much, okay, there is a new camera, there is a new lens. No one is going to see that little bit of 0.001 sharpness under the microscope. Analyze under the microscope. No one is going to do that. A person look at the image and what that image is giving me, what is transmitting me, which emotions are giving me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I hear you. I'm curious about what your first experience was with a camera. Can you even...
Yeah, of course, I remember. It's a fascinating moment when this object is, and then you put inside those days, you have a film, you put inside that film, and then,
where did you
capture something, and then, of course, those days we had to develop, and I used to have a darkroom, so, the darkroom, you develop the film, you develop the paper, and then this image come out.
Coming to life.
Magic process, it appear with your hand, using your hand. These days we do it in
digitally.
So it's Lightroom, it's not a darkroom anymore. But the process is the same. It's the creation process, because I can create something that 1 minute ago did not exist, and that thing will stay forever. And I remember
take me back to that place, because I don't know under what context was it when you started picking up photography.
I got this camera, found this camera from some relatives, but I was very, very young, and then I started to play around with it, and I remember my first photograph was made on the seashore with a granite tree. I still have it. I remember it very well.
Oh, that's nice.
That's the first shot I ever took in my life. And then you start like that. It's a travel, it's a journey, it's a path. Out of curiosity, because of course to take good photographs, you have to be curious about life, about people, about places. You have to move around. Apart studio photography, that's a commercial part. That's a commercial photography. That's something else. But for photographers, the great photographers of the world, they move. They find interesting stories.
They photographing all the time.
Days, weeks, months, years on a project that they end up with something that they believe is interesting for the people. Those are the great photographers of our time, so our century. I mean, people like Cartier-Bresson, Kudelka, Salgado. Those are people who dedicated their life to photography, not because they wanted to be famous, to be rich. There is no richness in photography. I don't advise anyone to become a photographer if you want to be rich. Something else. But those are people that really made history in photography. There are hundreds of them. I just mentioned just random names. I was just few weeks ago, one of the greatest, Sebastião Salgado, the greatest photojournalist, passed away just a few weeks ago, and he was 80-something years old. In his life, he made basically 3 great projects. One about workers, people who work manually. Migrants, people are moving, and then the nature. In all his life, in 50 years, in 60 years of photography, he made 3 big projects. And he traveled around the world and to document life. And I remember once he came to Italy as well. And one of his story was inside the workers' biggest project. And there was this photographs we want to do about the fishermen that they go fishing tuna. It's a very huge tradition. It's a very huge thing, especially in the south part of Italy and Sicily. Because the tunas they come only in one season, so it's really
so it's happening.
And I remember that he thought he was going to do it in maybe one day, so we took all the arrangements, all this preparation to make some photographs. It's the last part.
Right.
There's a lot behind before. And then the fixer, the guy, was saying, okay, tomorrow we go. And he said, okay, well, we're coming back when? He came back after 3 months. He stayed 3 months with them on the boat.
Yeah.
But his photographs are here.
Yeah.
So it's a dedication. You have to. It's not something.
It's not something you just do in a day.
Take a picture. I mean, we're talking about the great photographs.
Yeah.
Photographers of the world.
And I think part of that is also like, especially with a scenario like that, taking photos or documenting people who are at work, there's kind of like that trust that you're building or getting to know them.
To be known, to arrange things, to have an idea what you want to shoot, what are the important part of the story, what I want to say in this story. I want to document maybe, I don't know, this and that, so you make a kind of, a schedule of what you want to, your images are already in your mind.
Yeah.
Then, okay, you're
that's when you figure it out, and then you
adjusting yourself to the reality. But you have an idea, and then it takes time, then trust, and you spend a lot of time not taking photographs, but building them.
Right.
And then it comes at the final point that you just take that 100th of a second, the picture is done. It's a process.
Sure.
And sometimes, of course, there are other photographers, like street photographers, just move around and then randomly they are rearranged the random chaos around you instantly. But even that is a dedication, because every day they move. Some photographers that I know very well, and they do that in their cities and their countries, and every day they move around and take photographs. Sometimes they don't take photographs, they just don't find anything interesting, maybe next time. So
I'm curious to know if you were ever interested in anything else other than photography. Were you ever like, maybe I should, here and there?
Well, flying.
Oh, okay. We almost had Giulio, the pilot.
When I was young, I was flying.
And how did...
Music, of course, I played guitar. Music.
Yeah.
All those things, classic things that young people do.
And at what point did you decide?
Art in general, because my grandfather was a painter, an artist.
Okay.
I grew up in his workshop. I was surrounded by all these paintings and books and things. And thousands of books, thousands of paintings. But really thousands.
That must have been so cool.
As a kid, I was 10, 12 kids.
So you were still, by the time you were like choosing photography, there was no...
You don't choose photography.
He chooses you.
It's a fascination for this tool that can not reproduce, but can capture what you see. So through photography, I can show you exactly how I feel and what I saw in that moment.
Right.
I cannot describe you. Okay, some people are very good with words, poets, but photography is very interesting. And then photography is interesting because it's a very democratic form of, it's a visual art. People say a photograph speaks 1,000 words. It's not true. If you have those 1,000 words,
you can have,
otherwise it speaks two words to you. Okay, you have 2 words, it speaks 2 words. It does impose you a point of view.
Yeah, okay. I'm so glad you said that.
That's my photograph, then you see it. You see it in a way, what someone else will see it in another way.
Yeah.
We see different levels. And there are different levels of understanding to get deep inside the photograph. Everyone has its own personal view or things that capture their attention. Yeah.
No, I'm so glad you brought up that a photo text can say 1,000 words, because I've always thought that it was a little bit of a silly saying, because 1,000 words you can make up, I think, more than just one image of something.
You can now talking some visual examples. Come to class, I show you some pictures, and then what you see. You can see something. There are some experiments I made with my students. every semester they always see different things. People see different things, and everyone is different.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Then you start saying, these people are this. Then you start explaining, these people, this photograph was made here during this occasion, and then the perspective change.
Yeah.
So usually photographs and captions, the text together, sometimes they work together because they explain something.
Yeah, yeah.
The photographs set you free, leaves you free to
interpret or to see it how you see it, how it speaks to you.
Of course, some are very simple, some are very straightforward, some are more mysterious, more levels.
Conceptual, yeah.
Art in general is like that.
Yeah, definitely.
In the modern art, most modern art in the 19th century, 20th century.
I discovered your work when looking into Kampala Fashion Week. So in that space, I was just like, oh, what's like the fashion scene in Kampala looking like? Because I was interested in it. And like, I think I went to the Fashion Week in 2019, and I remember observing you like taking the runway shots. And in my mind, I'm like, how? Because it feels like you just like know how to like time the exact thing. Because it's not like you take a bunch of photos.
Those are the most, the simplest photos.
Really? But how come people?
It's nice.
Yeah.
They're simple. Honestly, they're simple.
Yes.
Because now you're not focused about how do you make those lines to make the word house. When we were kids, you were there
struggling to
you just write.
Yeah,
it's automatically.
Okay,
your brain just think what you want to write, and then through your hand and through your pen, you just do it. Same with photography. It comes at a certain point that it's become automatically. I mean, I don't even think about it.
That's so interesting.
Apart the technical aspect.
Yes.
Once you have to fix the technical aspect of the shoot that you, of course, you prepare in advance.
Right.
Then it's okay. Just shoot.
Yeah.
It's an instinct. Photography is an instinct. It's not. It's not exactly. It's even rational, but sometimes it's an instinct, especially in some photography. There was Richard Tilberstrom, and one of the greatest photographers of all time. He haunted generation of photographers because he's perfect in his photographs. And he says, you have a great photographs. Photographs is like shooting with a bow,
Right.
And when your heart and your mind and your eye are all aligned together at the same time, you have a great photographs. So the rationality, the vision, and the feelings.
Yeah. Huh.
It's an instinct. You can't teach, because sometimes it's just an instant, especially street photography and other things. It's gone.
Yes. And it happens once. It's not like you can tell them, come back and turn like this.
Model is working. It works 5, 6, 7, 10 seconds, I don't know. And it's that very moment, it's just that one. If you wait half a second, it's done.
Yeah.
It's an instinct.
I don't know why, because I've looked through runway photos from like different photographers, and in my mind I'm like, I don't know how it is that like the movement may not be caught the same way, or I don't know what it is.
I'm surprised because many people told me that, but me, I found those pictures really the most simple
to make. I was about to ask what your secret sauce is to runway photography.
We can discuss about other photographs more complex and things. Worked hard to make them. Those ones are really, for me, are the simplest. Let me come and shoot this. Interesting. Okay. It's fun, and you get into.
Then let me ask you about a photo that. Let me then ask you about a photo that I think might have been in a different context, more editorial. There's a photo that went super viral that you did with Kona.
My photo was more than me.
Okay.
Kona one. That one.
Yes, with the shades and it was stunning.
Yeah, even that one. Basically, that one was an outtake.
Okay.
Because the shoot was the official shoot with that outfit was done.
Yeah.
But then Veronica, then I said, Veronica, let's take a picture for us. Just, wait, I want to take a picture.
Right.
And that picture is just natural light. There's no flash, no nothing. No big things, just me, her, and the camera. And because I just saw her. It was that instinct.
Yes.
Just it's okay, come here, move like this, stay here. It was just natural light with the sun bouncing behind her back, and bouncing on the white wall behind. And that's it. It was just 2 shots. That's it.
Yeah. Oh wow! And then it's just people, took on a life of its own.
Yeah. Sometimes people they force you to shoot because it's commercial. It's commercial photography, so you want this. It's okay.
They have a vision. Yeah.
I give you this. I might not agreed 100%, but it's okay. You pay me to do that.
Right.
Okay, I will do. But if you give me the freedom, it's more interesting.
Yeah.
Because I shoot the way I want.
Yeah. And you bring.
And sometimes people force you. And I remember. Okay, I don't want to say names, but
yeah, you can leave out names, but
okay, shooting for the Queen, the Queen of Uganda. And we're shooting for this very important person. Bring all this equipment to show off.
Yeah,
I brought the same things I always bring.
Okay,
maybe one extra thing, but very small. I did not use them. The pictures of the book and other pictures of the outtake that she has, of course, are very nice. They are taken natural light. Just me, the Queen, and the camera.
Right. You didn't have to have all that.
To see, because it's about photography, writing light. So how is the light here? You have to feel the light. How the light is falling on you? What are the shadows? How is the lights? You see things in terms of shadow, highlights, how the shapes the reality around you.
Right.
About the light. The camera is a recording machine. It records the light that is there. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like a microphone. It's like
yeah. Still on the photo of Corner and how viral it went, because the thing is, I've seen people recreate it in paintings. I've seen it on T-shirts.
Kampala, you can see everywhere.
Yes.
On some walls, but they told me that it's on some hotels around the world, and even all those movie stars. I'm
curious.
They reposted on their pages. Me, I don't. Okay, me, I don't really follow much anything. Yeah. I think I follow only people that are dead since a long time. Interest me, so old artists or things, but I don't know names or new movie stars, new artists. I don't know anyone. And I remember one day there was this message from this lady saying, I would like to repost Eva Mendes.
Okay.
I don't know. You say, okay. I say, okay, sure, it's okay. Maybe you do. Yeah. It's fine. And I say, but what's she? I don't know.
Someone like me would have been like, oh my goodness, you guys.
We're just like, okay, cool. I don't know what people are. Yeah. This happens to me most of the time. Because I don't follow TV that much. Okay. I don't follow social media much. So it's okay.
Okay.
You can be the daughter of the princess. So
right. You may not know. Yeah. No, the reason why I brought that up is because I was curious about your thoughts on like crediting, and I know a lot of other photographers who might be like, no credit. Make sure you know that it's my work. What are your thoughts on that?
Nice, of course. People should credit you. And even this thing that sometimes people say, but I paid you. The fault you paid, you did not pay the photograph. The photo is mine. It's not yours. But my face is there. It's okay. It's my work. It's my creation, and legally it belongs to me. You only bought the right to use it in a certain way, in a certain time, for a certain reason. But the photograph belongs to me. Right. So legally, you should be obliged to credit me. Some people do, some people don't do. It's okay. It's an endless battle that you will never win in photography.
Okay.
Legally, everyone should credit you, unless it's specifically written down and agreed that, okay, I'm not going to credit you, but on written terms. Yeah.
So in a situation like that, I mean, where people are just seeing it and getting inspired, or just like taking the photo completely out of context, is it something that...
There is that kind of really, that's a kind of big copyright infringement. Of course, you can take legal action. But if they just post on their, they just someone posts on their Instagram page, and then there's a birthday, she doesn't credit me, it's okay.
Yeah.
Really,
but if they're making money off it, that's when you're going to be like.
But if they're really making something big out of it, it was nothing. That's big. It happened.
Yeah.
It happened with some pictures that we shot with Brendan and Yonju.
Okay.
And, they were hair pictures just like that. A company made an advert for blue jeans using her face and my photographs. She put them to go.
Yeah.
And that was great.
And then watermarking, I think, is also another thing that, people are very testy about. And I've seen that you have a very unique approach to it.
The trend in Uganda.
With the white border.
I started many trends in Uganda. Now I don't do it anymore.
Okay.
I hardly watermark my photographs anymore. And people know my photographs. So I don't need to put my name.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Because it comes from my darkroom years. In the darkroom, of course, I always lived the kind of white border on the paper when we were enlarging from the negative one. So it was there. I liked it. And then even for a technical reason, because if you want to frame it and you want to mount on the frame, having that kind of white border helps you to frame exactly the pictures and mounting the pictures in the frame.
Absolutely,
It was technical thing we do in those days. And if you look at pictures in museums and things, they always have that kind of white border. Sometimes it's hidden by the mounting, but it helps the photograph to be mounted on the frame.
And I think it's a very simple thing, but I feel like it really says a lot, because sometimes people they'll do the scribbling. Sometimes it's so distracting that it takes away from the photo itself, and yet we are
all victims of Instagram these days.
Right?
Because when you put them, people don't like that thing. You don't make those kind of windows on Instagram and all those. So I said, please don't put the white border. And even the way I should. Now, the traditional proportions of a photograph is 2:3. It's rectangular. And that's not the proportion of Instagram.
Right.
So now these days I shoot 4:5, not 2:3 anymore.
Yeah, because of Instagram. Oh yeah.
So this thing really changed.
How we see photos and how.
In the time we've been talking, they produced and they posted more photographs in the last 150 years.
Absolutely.
Just in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
So there is this overdose of exposed and photographs that are short, but how many do you remember tomorrow?
Right. I've always been curious about that. I wonder if social media makes us value good photography less, because we see it for 2 seconds, you double tap, you keep it moving.
A good photograph will always stay there because it will just capture your attention. Like you remember the photograph of Colin.
Right.
You saw it on social media. You cannot see it.
Absolutely.
But it captures your attention and things. So it depends, of course, always by the photographs. Social media is a tool. Depends how you use it.
Yeah.
Of course, this overexposing,
oversaturating so many
images,
of them.
It gives you kind of, association, you get the drug addiction. You don't get to the vibe anymore.
You never actually get to that point of actual satisfaction.
It's a tool. People use it. Of course, it's important. Young generation to use it. All new generation has some new tools, some new instruments that they can use, and they find their own way in the end.
Yeah.
But, the important things they will come out even out of
absolutely
videos.
Yeah. Speaking of new tools, what are your thoughts on increased AI use in photography?
If you just use it as as a tool to you can make a kind of fantasy that you have, it's okay. But if you're a photojournalist and you use it to alter reality and to alter a situation that happened, whatever it is, you're portraying a false information to the people. So these days, that's the new frontiers of these days, because what is real?
Right.
I mean, I saw just a few days ago this video, this little short video clip, and it was totally made with artificial intelligence. Acting, how the actors think what, and cannot absolutely recognize it. That's not real. This has very big implications because who do you trust? What is real? Already photography was an illusion.
Right.
So what's your point of view? But okay, I trust you, so I know that at least you are biased on something, but I know that you will try to be as objective as possible.
You know that what was there was there actually.
I know that it's through you, and I kind of trust you. Not alter reality that much. So that's very important for news, for journalism, for these things. No? The source, who is the source? Who is posting? Who is showing those photographs? Is a reliable, trusted source, or is someone X, Y, Z posting who? So being reliable, being a trusted source, this has become much more important than what you're actually showing. That's my first step. Being reliable, being trusted.
I think there's also a thing that keeps happening, especially when it comes to more artistic people.
That you can do.
Where
when you do it for artistic reason or for imagination.
No, Giulio. First, hold on. They will get let's say your entire catalog of work.
Oh, okay.
Feed it to the AI and be like, so this is so and so. This is his style, and they give him all that, and then they'll come and put a random selfie and be like, can you edit this selfie in the style of Giulio?
No, it's okay. You become a reference for someone. It happened many times already. You can't stop it. I mean, it's impossible to stop it. Just find a way to. It's not a competition. It happened recently with a very famous
animator.
Japanese.
The Studio Ghibli thing.
And everyone in the world started to. He's the one. You are just replicating things. Say it's a trend that will last a week. It's already over.
Right.
It lasted a week and that's it.
And I think to some extent maybe
you can't do much.
And I think to some extent maybe it kind of solidifies your name as a reference, maybe.
I don't even know about this. I guess so.
Okay. I'm curious, what is the hardest part or the biggest challenge that you find photographing in Uganda?
Okay, in commercial photography, of course, there are the usual things, so people keeping time, getting organized, having, especially for commercials, that everything is on set at the right time, everything goes as planned.
Right.
Models are there, makeup artists are there, and everyone involved in the shoot. Because commercial works, usually adverts, they involve a lot of people. Just you come to the shoot and be shoot. That's private photographs, it's okay. And then, that part is a bit more challenging to just move around and shoot, like street photography.
Right.
It is a little bit more challenging.
They'll definitely be asking a lot of questions. What are you doing?
No one cares about you.
Right.
They don't really mind.
Had you attempted to do more street photography at some point?
Not in recent years. Only when I was doing photojournalism.
Right.
Of course, I was not really in the city, so we just doing project or NGOs or things and areas and other parts. But then it was those days. It was not even, it was still film photography.
Okay.
Actually, it was nice because sometimes you brought you an instant camera, Polaroids. So, there were all the kids, okay, you want a picture. It was a way those days to just give something.
Right. Okay. What about in the editorial space or in the fashion photography space?
As we say, fashion, we don't do fashion. But I wish I could. But the market is still small. We don't have much investments and things. I mean, because true fashion is dream. It's a dream. It's a unique dreaming idea thing. So you can make everything happen. like the photograph of Avedon, very famous, made in the 50s of with two elephants down in the city center of Paris. Two elephants in the city center of Paris. Okay, they will come. Okay, with fashion, everything is possible.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to shoot in a place with a lot of with a field of sunflowers with a yellow biplane flying over. Okay, can you
make it happen? Yeah.
I don't know. No, so maybe with
I mean, yeah.
But it's not exactly the same. So yeah, basically this limits that sometimes you have to adapt to what you have. And sometimes, for logistic reasons, sometimes you plan to shoot at sunrise, then you end up shooting in midday.
Right.
Or maybe, I don't know, this or that was not available, something come up, or there was a challenge somewhere. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's also fun, adapting. I mean, one of the time I really enjoyed most was many years ago, there was this Royal Essence magazine and even a TV show. Okay, and things were not so plan all the time. Some challenges, but in the end it was fun because in the end you end up going in random places and with 5, 6 models, whatever, and then you shoot. Yeah. A few minutes, just whatever is there. That's interesting. You have to adapt. In this job, you have to adapt. Yeah. Because things, they hardly
go exactly as you plan, yeah. Tell me about your most memorable photo shoot.
Yeah, there are many. I mean, every photo shoot is interesting because it's about the people. Okay. But there are some, of course, the one of Connor was nice. Shooting the Queen was nice. Even shooting during Miss East Africa in Tanzania. I mean, that was my quickest photo shoot ever, like 5 seconds. Okay. Because we were shooting in National Park with the bus. We were moving inside Ngorongoro National Park. And then there were all the animals around. And then we just stepped out of the bus. Yeah. So behind the picture, you think you're in the middle of nowhere. And I stays the bus. So the model just stepped there, tap, down. Yeah. Right. So 5 seconds.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There are a lot of interesting. Every photograph has a story.
Yes.
And then the picture, they keep on moving by themselves, like Veronica. They find their own way through the world and finding very unexpected places. Right. And they have a life of their own.
They take on a life of their own.
Not even normal people, normal photographs. I mean, what I'm thinking these days, okay, these days everyone is, you come, you take a shoot, you post on Instagram, whatever. Very altered, just Photoshop here and there. Okay, what your nephews are, which idea your nephews are going to have of you 40 years from now? Yeah. What will remember of you? Because most likely Instagram will not be there, or they will be totally changed. I'm not so sure. Yeah. But you still have the pictures of your grandmother, your family. There's a frame somewhere. Everyone has an album of family photograph. I mean, the memories of your family, how they are going to be.
That's so true.
And what they are going to show. Yeah. Of your personality, of your life, of these days. What your nephews are going to think about. How was the life of our grandma? Right. Auntie? Yeah. Now you can see it. You can see that your auntie was there, and you saw that picture. She was posing very formal with the husband or the other family. But see, you have an idea about how she was like, which kind of life she had, and maybe you have some family moments, so very natural. But, the real life when you were a kid with your mother or the father and things, and those are genuine, real memories that are part of your life. Yeah. But when the life is photoshopped,
when everything
what are they going to remember? Yeah. They will remember, yes, a kind of fake reality. But maybe they will be
she was this fabulous person.
To know a bit more about you. Yeah. What was behind that surface? Yeah. Real, genuine pictures.
That's a question to ponder, by the way.
They should, I mean, just let the kids be like themselves. Just shoot just normal, genuine family moments that will be part of your history and your own history, one of your own family.
And I think people still do take those ones that they just don't post. But the worry is...
Posting. Might be deleted, might be what? But print.
Yes, yeah.
A print will last 100 years. It will outlast my life, your life, everyone's life.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you burn it, but it's okay, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's a document, something real that you can touch.
I've really thought about that, by the way, because I've had a phone stolen from me that was not backed up.
You lost phone.
And I was like, oh my goodness, all these memories, I cannot get them back. And it's only the ones that maybe are on Instagram or, you know.
Photographs.
Yeah.
I mean, the important ones, meaningful to your life, to your family life, print.
Yeah. They need to be printed.
You don't need a fancy album. Just
Absolutely.
put them in a box.
Yeah.
Just print and keep them there. They're part of your life.
That's something to ponder, by the way. You have shot so many different people, so many different faces. I wonder, when it comes to muses or models, what are your favorite kinds of models or muses, I think?
Muses, usually someone that you get along with well, you know, no stress, no what, and you want to experiment something, you just shooting for the fun of shooting or creating something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the interesting part. I mean, some of the photographs that are in my studio, people like a lot. I mean, those are maybe some very close friends that we were just there doing nothing. Let's take a picture like this out of the blue with nothing much. No big installments, no big preparation, no budget at all. Just for the fun of it, just to create something.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And the will to experiment, the will to try to, because in the end they are photographs. I mean, they are just photographs. Yeah. I mean, if you don't like, it's okay. We delete. In this case, we delete. In this case, we don't print. It's the same. So they are photographs. We are not writing the Constitution of Uganda. Yeah. It's not something really that big, you know.
Yeah.
Just simple photographs. Yeah. You know, just for fun. To create something, to create an emotion, to create a feeling, to create something. You can create on different levels. You can create different kind of emotions. What you want to show. Yeah. Because it's about that. What you want to express. You want to express something, and then you use in case of fashion, your models, they use their face, their body to express that something. Models, they sell products as well. So that's what they do. Beauty queens, they talk. They're supposed to talk in front of the crowd. Yeah. Okay. But then the will to create. The will to create. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you.
So if someone is rigid and they are just like, oh no, this is my
will. The will to express. Yeah.
Okay.
Together, to create something together, because of course, I can shoot. I can take a photograph of you the way I want, the way I see you. It's okay. But then we can even decide to make something together.
Right.
So to create together.
Where I bring in my own input and I'm like, okay, can we
create that thing together?
Yeah.
So it's not only my point of view, only my interpretation, but it's a common project.
Collaboration of sorts. Okay. You did mention earlier that, you don't think that specific gear or the most, high tech is important for a photographer.
Absolutely.
What is the most key thing that you'd want to let a younger photographer know about the art of photography?
The most important thing for a young photographer, shape your vision. See the work of the great photographers. I mean, the real great photographers of the world. There are many. They are from South America, from Africa, from Europe, from everywhere. They are there. Even they are very young photographers. So shape your vision. Feed yourself with art. A new camera will not make you take better pictures. Because you are the same human being.
Right.
Being heartbroken, it will change you. And it will change the way you talk, it will change the way you dress, it will change the way you speak, it will change the way you shoot.
Yeah.
So it's not the camera. Grow up. It's a part. That's why it's not a race for anyone. It's just your own personal path in life.
Yeah.
It's a journey. And then, feed your life with art, with photographs, with great photographs, shape your vision, find your way to be yourself. And what's interesting in you, what you want to shoot. Are you interested in people, in nature, in wildlife? There are a lot of different photography. You want to make just commercial, you want to make weddings, any kind of photographs, but just find what is interesting for you, what's inspiring you, and then of course slowly, and make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you never learn.
Oh yeah.
So experiment, try again. Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious to know what currently inspires you.
Well, of course, I'm still interested in the story of people, because everyone has a unique story. Of course, commercial photography, sometimes you don't have that chance to.
Yeah. That's why I was asking.
So it becomes still on the surface.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes you can get something a bit more. It's not so easy, but yeah, of course, people are the face of people, the expression of the feelings, what's behind those eyes.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Have you been happy recently?
You can tell.
Recently?
Hey. Yeah.
What's is coming out
right
from the eyes, from your expression? Why you don't want to smile? Why you smile?
Right.
What is your story? Why you here? Why you want to take this photograph?
Yeah.
In the end, for what? What's the reason? Yeah, I'm always surprised by this. Like,
okay.
Why you should?
What was the most surprising reason someone has ever?
It's a birthday. It's okay. Just for fun. Makes you feel good. People have many different reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
And that's keeps you going, because everyone is different. So every day there is a different story.
Yeah.
Every day is a different person, something. It's even nice to see the people that came to shoot many times. Maybe they were young and they got married and kids. Basically, you're documenting their life.
Okay. Yeah.
It's cool. And kids grow very fast.
Yeah. That must be fulfilling to actually witness.
Nice feeling.
Yeah. Okay. Giulio, thank you so much for making time today. I feel like you've given us so much and so much context into the background of what has made you the photographer that we revere today.
Yeah, photography, as I said, it's a nice tool. It makes you meet a lot of new people, travel the world.
Yeah.
Get curious. The best advice for be curious about life. Be curious about the others, and use your photograph to find that moment in time to create something.
Okay, that's a good way to close it up. Yes, be curious, keep curious. Okay, guys,
stay healthy.
Keep curious, stay healthy. See you next week. Bye.
If you like this video, make sure to check out the rest of our page, because there's so much more for you to see. Make sure you like, share,